Hello and welcome to the back end of your website, kenscopets.com. So to get started, this first video is just going to kind of walk you through the dashboard because this will be the landing place when you log into the back end of your website. So you'll notice up at the top, there is the top navigation bar, and we'll go through what's up there in just a second. Then you'll notice to the left, you have your side navigation. And then in the middle, you'll notice some of your dashboard components. So these are things that I've put on here because I think that they'll be useful to you, but they can be customized. So this isn't the end all be all for your dashboard view. So let's go ahead and get started up in the top navigation. So up here on the right, you have your profile and your login information. So it says Howdy Site Master, and then if I come down here, you can set an image to your profile if you'd like. You can edit your profile, and then you can also log out. There may be cases where you want to log out because you want to see what the front end of the website looks like without being logged in as the admin, because the admin view will give you access to pages that are hidden to the general public. Then we'll come over here to the left and you see an icon for performance. Now this is going to control your cache and your CDN routing. So this is be something that you would, if you had any questions about this, you would point this in the way of a developer. Then you have Marketplace. This is a default for WordPress. You can get themes and plugins here, graphics, things of that nature. You can look around and see if you find anything useful, but it's probably not something that you're going to use. Then right here you have your Yoast notifications. This is for your SEO. So this is where you would look to see what needs to be adjusted on the website so that you can meet the SEO standards for the plugin. That also helps with your Google search ranking and site authority, things of that nature. Then you have the option to add new things. So you can add posts, media, pages, orders. So this is where you would manually enter things. There are other ways to create these things as new, but this is an easy way right up at the top. Next to it, you have the comments. If you were to start blogging or to offer the ability for people to comment on pages on your website, this is where you would see new ones that you haven't viewed yet. Then next to it, you have the updater. So this will show you when you need to update something on your website. Then next to it, you can see it says Kensco Pets. There's a little home icon, and in the drop down, it says Visit Site and Visit Store. So there's a couple things that are going on here. If you were to just click on this top button, which is the home icon with Kensco Pets next to it, it would take you to the front end of your website. If you come down here and you click on Visit Site, it will again take you to the front end of your website. If you click Visit Store, it will take you to the shopping page on your website. All right, so this comes in handy when you log into the back end, but what you really want is to look at the front end. By all means, click on this. It'll take you to the front end. You can do what you need to do. Then last but not least, on the far left, we have the WordPress icon. This is an easy place for you to go to get documentation, to access wordpress.org, which will give you more documentation and information about the platform itself. You can access support forums, and then you can provide feedback if you'd like. There's also another way to get to this information that I'll show you in just a moment. All right, so that's your top navigation bar. Now let's move over to the side navigation bar. So you'll notice here we're on the dashboard right now, and options within the dashboard are updates, which we already saw in the top navigation bar, and then there's also the WooCommerce helper. Keep in mind that WooCommerce is the plugin that handles the e-commerce for your website. So if you ever have questions about it, the WooCommerce helper is a good place to start. Then we'll go down the list. So we've got post. This would be handy if you guys decide to blog. So this particular area won't be useful to you at this time. Then we look down, we have media, and this is where all of your creative assets are held. Videos, PDFs, images, logos, things of that nature. All of that is held in the media area. Then we've got pages. This is where every page on your website sits, be it the About Us page, the shopping page, the account profile page, the retail portal page. All of those pages are going to be found in this area right here. Then we've got comments. This, of course, is where if you're allowing comments on your pages or your posts, this is where you'd be able to access those. Then there is the project section. This is for people who are looking to do more of a portfolio piece with their website. This is where you would build that type of thing. But since you guys aren't doing any of that, this area will not be useful for you either. Really where your bread and butter is in this WooCommerce area, because this is where you're going to have access to your orders, to your abandoned carts, to your pricing rules, and then of course right below it you have your products, where you can add products, you can adjust products, and you can set attributes for it, which would be like colors. Then below you have the marketplace, which we saw up in the top navigation bar, but you have it on the side as well, and you have access to all the same things. Then you have your appearance. This allows you to adjust your themes. It allows you to customize certain components of the website in the back end. It allows you to add widgets. You can adjust your menus. So this kind of stuff you can look at, but this I would also leave to your developer. Then we come down to plugins. This would be where you would find information about what plugins are being used on your website. So if you want to know what's being used, what's active, what's deactivated, and there's also some information on updates in there as well. This is also where you would go to add new plugins to your website if you ever need to do something like that. Below that, we have users. This is a list of all users that are registered on your website, be that subscribers, contributors, or admins, or retailers. So this is where you would go to add new people, delete people that you don't want on there, or to view your profile and make changes to your profile. Then below that, we have tools. This is mainly used for import-export, and this isn't something you would really use. This would be something that a developer would use to add things to the site or to take content away from the site to move it somewhere else. Then below that, we have settings. So the things that are important in here are your video lightbox, which controls the lightbox that pops up your promotional video on your homepage, and then your WP members plugin, which protects the content for the retail portal and requires that somebody be logged in as a retailer to be able to access that particular page on the site. So that's where that's going to come in handy. But again, that would be something I would really leave to your developer to adjust any of these like basic fundamental settings. Then you have your SEO plugin, which we talked about up in the top navigation bar. This is going to be where you can access the dashboard and the search console. This will tell you where you need to work on your SEO versus where you're performing really well based on the standards of the plugin. And this is a really well-known plugin. So as far as SEO goes, you can trust what they're telling you. Then you have your Google Analytics. This is where you dive deep into your analytics, at least deeper than the dashboard shows. But to get some really firm data, you're going to want to go to the actual Google Analytics interface. Then right here, we've got performance, which we talked about in the top navigation bar. This is where you're going to control your cache and your CDN. Again, probably going to be something that you would leave to a developer, because this is talking about the performance of the website and how fast it runs and how it parses information. Then below that, you have the Bloom plugin. Now this is part of the Divi theme family, and what this does is this allows you the ability to create engaging callouts on your website. So when you start looking to build your email list for future marketing purposes, this would be where you would go to build that and then get the statistics of how many times it's been clicked on and things like that. That's what you would use Bloom for. And then below it is the option for Divi, which is your theme. So Divi Builder and the Divi theme are what makes your website look the way that it does and what makes it function the way that it does. So there are some things that you can change in here. For example, in the theme options, you could change the favicon, which is the little icon that's next to the name of the website on the tab in your browser. So things like that can be changed here, but again, probably not something that you would want to get in, mess around with. I would leave that to your developer. And then right below that is our last option to collapse the menu. So if you ever need more room, more real estate on your screen, you can always collapse that menu and then uncollapse it when you need to make some options. All right, now that we've got this top navigation and the sidebar taken care of, let's look at all the good juicy stuff in the middle. Let's start with Google Analytics. So as you can see, there's a graph here and it's showing you how many visits you've had over the last 30 days. Now, if you want to change it, you just come up here and you choose the option that you want, be it the past 60 days or just yesterday. Whatever you're looking for, you've got a little bit of wiggle room here. If you're looking for more specific information, what you're going to want to do is go into the Google Analytics native platform and drill down a little bit further to get some more details. This is just going to give you basic overview information. So if you take your cursor and you hover over the dot, you'll see what the data is for that particular dot. Now, if you come down here, what you can see is how many visits you've had to the site in the last 30 days, how many page views, and then how many pages are people visiting when they come to your site. Then you can see your bounce rate. Now your bounce rate's important. You want to keep this as low as you possibly can. 17.04 is a really great bounce rate at the moment because what it's doing is it's measuring the amount of time that it takes somebody to move away from your website once they've already landed there. And what that is it's indicative of saying if they came from a search and they entered and they bounced back out after 10 to 30 seconds, then obviously they didn't find what they were looking for and this link wasn't necessarily valid for the person's search. And what that's going to do is it's going to say, okay, maybe this particular site isn't credible for the way that it's been ranked. So Google's looking at that. So you want to keep it as low as possible because what you want is you want people to stay on your site. Then you can see the average time on the site, 6 minutes, 2 seconds. That's really good. That's a decent amount of time on a website, especially for a brand that only sells one product. So people are spending some time on there and they're actually reading the content, which is good. And then you'll notice here you've got new visits. You're at about approximately 27%. That's pretty good. And you'll just have to decide for your internal strategy where you want to be with that. I would say given your business model, since you only have one product, I would say that you're looking for a lot of new visitors, not so many returning visitors. So my personal recommendation would be try to keep your new visits as high as possible. Then you can come down here, you can see what pages have people viewed and how many times have the pages been viewed. Then you can see your top refers and your top searches. So a refer is where they came from. So 3 visits came directly from a Facebook link. So not bad. All right. So that's your Google Analytics dashboard. Okay. Remember, go into Google Native or into the link on the side navigation and you can get more detailed information. This is just an overview to give you an idea of where you're at. Then if you come over here to the left, you're going to see your WooCommerce status. Now, this is going to be really important for you guys because this is where you're going to track all of your sales. This is going to be your net sales for this particular month. And then down here, you'll have orders that are waiting to be processed. And then you'll have orders that are on hold to the right. And then below that, you have notification when your product is low in stock and then when it's out of stock. Your website is not managing stock through WooCommerce. So at this point, you would not see any products in low stock or any products out of stock. If you choose to go in and enter your stock in to the website, then there's a possibility you will have notifications when you get low on stock. And then down here, you have your Yoast SEO component. So what this is the 2 notifications that you see on the top navigation bar for Yoast SEO and on the side navigation bar. These are those notifications. So it allows you to see an overview of them, and then you can drill in further to see specifically what you need to change and make some changes so that you can rectify the issues. Again, you're not always going to meet SEO standards for every single page just because of the nature of the page. So don't feel the absolute need to go in and fix these. So then we scroll down a little further and we can see we've got the WooCommerce recent reviews. So since you allow reviews on your products, anytime somebody leaves a review on the website, you will see it here. And that's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. So a couple things to know about this dashboard and how to kind of make it your own, because you can customize it. If you don't want to see something, so for example, say you want the Yoast SEO component to stay there because you want it to be accessible, but it's big and you don't always want to see it because you know that some of those notifications you're not directly interested in. So you would just come up here, you would click this little arrow, and then it will minimize that component. Then when you're ready to look at it, all you got to do is click the arrow again and it's viewable. Now let's say, this isn't that important, but the ratings, the reviews, that's more important to you. So you want that a little further up to the top. So all you have to do is get these 4 arrows on the component that you want, click, and then drag it up till you see those dotted lines, and that'll tell you where you can drop it. So you can drop it right there. All right, so you can do that with any of the components on here. You just remember what you're looking for is those 4 arrows, and then you're just going to click, and then you're going to move it to wherever you want, and make sure you're looking for those dotted lines. See those right there? That's what you're looking for. So you need 4 arrows, and then you move it to the dotted lines, and it will just snap in place for you. The last thing that you can do is, let's say that you don't want to see the Yoast component at all. You're just not concerned. It's not relevant to you. You don't want to minimize them. You just want it gone. What you would do is you would come up here to the screen options, click that arrow, and it's going to pull down the boxes that are available for the dashboard. So what you would do is anything that's clicked is visible. Anything that's not clicked is not visible. So you would just unclick the Yoast SEO, and then there you go. It's gone. If you want it back, you just click it again, and there you go. It's back. Next to the screen options, you also have the ability to get help. Now, this is specific to WordPress. This is not specific to WooCommerce. This is also the same thing as the WordPress icon in the top navigation bar. So that's an overview of your dashboard. So remember a couple things to keep in mind. You've got your top navigation bar, then you've got your side navigation bar, and then you've got your components in the middle. And remember, all of these components can be moved. You just need your 4 arrows, and then you drag it to where you see the dotted lines. If you want to minimize them, you just click this arrow, it will hide it, and then you click the arrow again, and it will make it visible. So that's your dashboard. Let's go ahead and we'll head over to the next video where we're going to cover media and pages.